back to the 2014 North American LCS Spring Split. We're minutes away from our next game, Curse versus Evil Geniuses. But first, I'd like to welcome XCG Zuna to the desk. How you doing?
Good, especially after that one. Thank you.
So, coming into that game, you guys had a rough score, 1-6. You come in to face CLG. How are you feeling coming into that match?
Coming into that match, it kind of was just like when we play, we're just not really getting the hang of the games. Like, we don't play as well as we used to. So we were like, well, this isn't good. And then it was pretty much we just needed more like play time, I guess. So we were going to pretty much just say, hey, let's not take a day off and let's continue to play if we did lose this match. So I guess that like pumped everyone up and we played even harder today.
So like, what have you noticed as like the big change? Like, you say you feel off, like you're not playing up to par. Like, what's going wrong?
I feel like our biggest strength in last split was we knew how the meta works and like what heroes we got. We knew like it could beat anything. And then this meta, I think if you look down to it, like more than play is actually just our pick ban phase. I think that's what we accelerated at. And now going into this, we're still learning a lot. So our pick bans are really shaky at the moment.
Yeah, and we actually haven't gotten much of a chance to talk to you guys this split because you haven't been winning as much as you were in the summer split. A lot of critics out there talking about your role swap. I kind of just want to give you a chance to maybe speak to how the role swap has been going and why you think it's a good idea.
Well, mostly our biggest problem during last split is that when it got to mid-late game, we just could not end the game.
Right.
So we decided to role swap so we could actually end the game mid to late game, which has been playing out. But the problem is, though, even though we could improve in that one area, when we first started playing together, our weakest was our early game, and now we've been lacking on that. And then a new meta came in, so we're thinking about what heroes we like to play, or champions, my bad. And we were like, okay, so what do we want to play? And then we just kept picking heroes, and then we're like, well, they're not synergizing well at all. So now we're playing heroes that are a lot stronger and synergizing well together.
Have you guys considered at all maybe swapping back to AD carry and jungler, or is it just better this way in the long run?
I believe it's better like this in the long run, so I doubt we'll be switching back, if anything.
Okay. And you actually spoke to synergy with champions a second ago. I kind of want to get back to your synergy with ManCloud. I know during the summer split, Smithy and ManCloud did really well. ManCloud was a record setter in kills, and he's having a much worse time this time around. Is that just because you work better with Benny, or what's going on in your mid lane here?
Well, I would say last split compared to this one, too, is that with lots of 2v1s going down, it would be you couldn't really help mid. It'd be a 1v1, and then you could send your jungler there if you ever got a free time. And that's where we usually put our jungler because Cloud is the type of character that, like, if he gets kills early, he can carry the game. And then we try to focus that up top or on bottom more, like, instead of just putting it on Cloud. And it wasn't really paying off. And then that with our picks, it just wasn't working too well. So this game, I focused a lot on mid, just not even to make sure he got kills, but just to make sure he was ahead. And it worked pretty well.
Yeah, and you also spoke earlier about the mid-game play calling. In this one, it was pretty close throughout, and we actually have a clip where you guys were able to catch CLG out in a bottom lane team fight. And if we can get that clip up on the screen, Zuna, I'd like you to kind of walk me through what you guys were seeing here.
Okay, what we were thinking, I was saying get on Link, and then he flashed. The second he flashed, I saw Benny going in, and Benny is pretty much unkillable and doing lots of damage. So he was going on both of them, and we knew he couldn't die, so we were like, just go in, just doesn't matter, just keep going in. And then once we got the kill, we were like, okay, we're about even during that fight, and now we're really strong. So all we have to do is make sure we catch them, and we'll go ahead.
Yeah, and what really led to the opportunity there? Like, why do you think CLG was so pushed up versus why was that an easy fight for you to find?
Well, pretty much we had a catch comp. We couldn't siege on them because they had so much wave clear, and they had really good poke wave clear. But because we had such good engage and initiation that they couldn't siege on us either. So all it came down to is who catches who first, and we caught them out, and it just played out well for us.
Okay, so of course we do have more games coming up today, and I actually want to get your opinion on our final game of the day, which is going to be Cloud9 versus TSM. How do you like these two teams?
I think right now they're definitely the strongest two teams in NA, and I think Cloud9 will beat TSM because I don't think TSM's pulled the game off of them yet.
Yeah, and you've played against both of the junglers in that matchup. Who would you think have the edge between Emedios and Odd1? Because I know they both have different styles.
I'd say they're both just as good, just different strengths on different people. Like Odd1's more of a supportive type, and Emedios is more of a hard carry jungler.
All right.
All right, Zuna, thank you very much for your time. Congratulations on your second win. Hopefully we see 20 more through the rest of the split, and good luck to you on this one. But we've got more games, guys. Let's send it over to Riv and Kobe to take us into our next match.
Thank you very much, Freak. Now let's send it, or let's get ready for it. Now I want to send it places. God, let's get ready for our second match of the day. I Will Dominate and Curse versus Snoopy and Evil Geniuses. So far this spring, both teams have had bright spots and some not so bright spots that we've seen, with both Curse and EG struggling to find consistency.
I definitely like Curse now. They've been coming up with some really cool strategies. You know, last week it was those heavy damage champions. They were pretty much all picking damage. And then this week they went with that really cool Siege comp versus CLG where they stacked a Nunu Blood Boil plus a Janna Shield for extra AD on a Jinx, who's already amazing at taking turrets, and they made a really good case for themselves with that Siege composition. But they couldn't sustain it late. I mean, especially we have to also shout out Zekent in that game. Yeah. He was a core component to the team. Really nice Monsoons as well as some good Howling Gales, showing that, you know, going back to his main champion, Janna, even though he played at AP before, is still a staple for him as a support.
He can still get it done. On the red side of the rift today is Evil Geniuses. EG has really been struggling with their communication so far this spring, and they seem to be lacking that consistent shot caller.
Yeah, well, these guys have also shown a lot of creativity in their champion select and their ability to react well to those bans. But, you know, in-game, their synergy is lacking here. Somebody really does need to step up and take charge and be the decisive shot caller.
Yeah, and coming into this match, a lot of players point to the battle in the mid between Polebelter and Voidboy as a determining factor here. And they expect some early aggression from Dominate to get Voidboy going.
Initially coming into the season, people weren't expecting that much from Curse, but they seem to have found a mix that's really working for them.
When we play Evil Geniuses, I expect them to be showing a pretty strong performance. They have been looking a little bit weak, but they did take a win in week 2.
I think we have to play a little carefully to make sure that we don't get caught off, because Voy and Dom really like to make these flashy engages and just kind of catch someone out and then accelerate the map pressure.
I think Voy and Pobelter are both very skilled. Pobelter does have his days, but Voy is generally more consistent. I think Dominate will pretty much dictate what happens in mid, but everything else I'm pretty sure we're stronger.
Our results against them in scrims have been very mixed. We've had good scrims and then bad scrims, so I'm not entirely sure what it's going to be like. We're going to have to see on the day who wins.
It just depends on if Voyboy can get that lead mid over Pobelter, which I think he can.
I like the comment from Pobelter where he's like, yeah, Dominate and Voidboy like to make flashy plays. So do you. That's what Pobelter does all day. So now let's check out the starting lineups. On the blue side, it is Curse. In the top lane is Quas. I Will Dominate in the jungle. Voidboy in mid. Cop at AD carry. And Zekent on support.
And on the red side, it's Evil Geniuses. Inox is up top. Snoopy's in the jungle. Pobelter mid. Yellow Pete is the AD carry. And Crepo is supporting.
And you know what? We'll actually have to see if Pobelter does make the plays. He had a great game on Gragas last week that everybody was like, all right, probably shouldn't let him have that again.
And he was even outplaying the jungler and the mid lane at the same time from the mid lane there. So definitely a lot of weight on these mid laners' shoulders here, both Pobelter and Voyboy across the way. Though a lot of people also shout out Dominate to be a big changing factor in that mid lane matchup.
And a lot of lanes, even in the jungle that these teams match up, they don't see the same champion, so it's going to be an interesting game. We see Quaz playing, you know, Karthus, a little bit of Mundo. That's the only two champions that Inox and Quaz share in the top lane. So there's the Nidalee on one side with Karthus Jax on the other. It's going to be a great matchup, and that is kind of the same for each lane. It's different.
I just say, you know, Curse might be the most versatile team in the LCS right now, just because they can go all the way from one side of the spectrum to the other, and you're never really sure which strategy they're going to come to the table with on game day.
We'll have to see what EG can do. Definitely a big focus on the bottom lane. We saw the Soraka-Urgot combo, but does it have to be something like that for these guys to pull out a win in that lane? Does it have to be so out of the box that the other team hasn't played against it?
Yeah, like even in that game, like the Soraka-Urgot didn't like dominate and take over that game. Right. It was like playmaking from Pobelter. So really what they need are the strong early games and the strong plays to be made from their solo laners. And like we said before, they need to work on communication, I think, first and foremost.
I feel like either Snoopy, Crepo may be making some of those calls on the team. We'll definitely have to get an interview and ask them, you know, what the deal is. Snoopy has had his Mundo win, which is very good for him in the jungle. It's something he said, I really haven't played this since the changes, but he was able to come out with the win. So might see that banned out from them, or for them. And Crepo, on the other hand, being his Thresh play, he's actually got one chance on Leona, and that was a loss for them. And that's really a kind of staple champion behind Thresh, or even in front of Thresh, if you will.
Yeah, regardless of the situation, Crepo is always eager to make a good engage, and he's able to land the Zenith Blades and the hooks when he's on Thresh pretty much at will. So they've got always a good support engage if they want to do it.
Yep.
It just seems like sometimes they haven't been on the same page as the rest of the team, and moving as a unit, very important.
Let's talk a little bit about Pole Vaulter and Voyboy still, because these guys have actually played together. They know each other's skill set very well, but they've kind of been playing separate and different champions. Do you think it is going to be flashy games for them, and they're going to try to kill each other, or do you think they'll roam?
I think that they'll probably be saving those picks until very late in Champion Select, so that they can make use of their versatile champion pools and actually counter-pick the mid lane, since both teams seem to think it's extremely important in this matchup.
The Urgot ban does come out. I feel like it kind of just thwarts a composition that will be used. I don't think they're really saying Urgot is going to destroy our team.
That's
just for the specific.
Kind of the factor of we have not played against Urgot a lot in practice, so I just don't want to face it, because that will put Cop and Zekan, off kilter, to probably put them on edge in that lane, and they don't want to deal with the unexpected nature of Urgot.
Not happening. Annie being played by Bloodwater 4 times so far. Or rather, Bloodwater, not Bloodwater, by Zekan. He's been playing a lot of Janna, we said. Not the Annie stat. That's not what I wanted. But he is going to get it banned out.
Yeah, 2 support bans here already. Taking away the Leona from Crepo is pretty much, at this point, EG decides, do we ban out Thresh, or do we let them go with that champion? Zekan hasn't played that much Thresh, has he?
Coming out for Zekan, no. He really, actually, no, he has 4 on Thresh. I'm sorry. That's the one I was actually talking about before.
Yes, a lot of Thresh then, and it's first pick.
Right.
So they leave up the last of the main trio of supports to go to here, and obvious first lock in there for Curse then means that EG are the ones are going to have to react.
Yeah, he gets himself something very safe for Cop, and Cop versus Yellow Pete is going to be a good matchup. We'll talk about that as we see more picks coming in here. The Gragas, like we said, kind of that ambiguous pick, keeps everything open, but the Olaf showing, Snoopy's actually the other one that's been liking the Olaf in the NA LCS.
Yeah, with all the bans spent on, fringe picks here, mid laners and supports, they leave up some go-to champions for Snoopy, which is very important, because in the last game on Vi, he had a lot of engages that were sort of disconnected from the rest of the team. Elise, definitely one of those champions that every jungler needs to learn, so he should very well be comfortable on that.
He actually hasn't played out the Elise. He got his win on Mundo and on that Olaf, which is why I thought he was going to lock it in. So this is going to be new for Snoopy in this matchup. They do lock in that Yellow Pete Lucian, though.
He also talked about, after yesterday, how in Champion Select, he felt like there was a better champion than Vi to pick in the situation, but the team was saying that they wanted Vi, so he went along with the team here. Maybe there was still more dissent in Champion Select here. That does not bode well if some of them wanted Olaf and somebody wanted Elise.
Dominate looks like he's going to be locking in Vi for himself. He has quite the list of champions played in that jungle. The Pantheon, the Wukong, Gragas as well. He has tried his hand on Elise, but will not get it this game. And it's really, looks like something Cop will get, unless we may see Voyboy on an Ezreal mid if he gives us something nice.
Now, locking in Vi means that Dominate will have a big impact on the mid lane if he wants to. The thing is, pairing that with Draven, he could very well use his first ultimate down bottom. The first kill for Draven is extremely important. If you can get that early, you can easily snowball that lane out of control. So the Vi is a really good early lock-in here for Dominate. The guaranteed lock-in at level 6 should be either focused towards the bottom lane or towards mid, I think, in this matchup.
Seeing possible Alistar play come in. Aphromoo did pull that out in their game. They see the Thresh. It's not against the Vi's, or a Leona, rather. That is already banned out, so it's just going to be a wait on this. Will Pole Belter go Alistar mid?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Just going to kill your excitement right now. Going into the duo lane here, what would they want with Lucian? I mean, a lot of the supports are off the table, so it could very well be a support Alistar. Crepo, like we said, very used to engaging.
Oh, very cool.
And getting in there. Alistar is one of the best, the bodyguard style support. Yeah. So that does work pretty well with Lucian. Both very mobile here.
The real Peel, and able to just headbutt people out of the way. You see these guys waiting to pick. Crowd getting in on it. So looking at the team for EG, though, they're a team that makes plays, but is that a playmaking team?
That's a good early game playmaking team. Anytime you do have Elise in the jungle, she's got a lot of opportunity. Just starting as soon as she hits level 3, can make plays all over the map. And going to a Renekton lane would mean that you're usually going to a lane that's pushed up and you have a little bit of an advantage. So it's going to be on Snoopy also to look for counter ganks a lot, since both of those lanes could very well be shoved up.
And we are going to get a quick pop out of Champion Select just now. Voyboy is feeling a little ill, so he has taken a quick run to get himself set up, and then we'll get him back into the game. But right now we are in Champion Select coming in for Curse versus EG, and we'll be right back to that in just a few. Kobe, looking at these teams so far, like you said, EG kind of having the front line, but we've seen them with the Urgot Soraka composition or other compositions that require you to go to them before the initiation. Are they gonna be able to use this front line? Are they gonna dive with Renekton? Can they get in with Elise?
Renekton and Elise also have really good dragon control, so I think we might be seeing fights around the dragon.
Okay.
But, man, I feel bad for Voyboy. The sickness has been spreading around through all of the pro teams. Started with TSM. I think they might have brought it. And everybody else, since everyone lives in LA now, it's just been spreading out through everyone. And the odd virus is taking effect.
The odd virus. So it comes from the odd one? Oh, man.
Pretty sure he's the culprit.
We're going to have to see. They're quite healthy, though. Get themselves, like I said, it's these morning games. Gets everybody off kilter.
It's just
I guess it's afternoon
morning
now,
games.
so that doesn't count. So we are definitely, giving Voyboy a moment to collect himself. This is something that is kind of not happens all the time, but we do give time for the players. Not going to deduct a ban or anything. Not going to, make something else happen into punishment. So we're waiting for them to get back in. But this game overall for Curse, they have been a team that has been back and forth to even games against EG, who, like we said, have been trouble in the shot calling. So coming into this one, Curse seems to have the upper hand.
They seem to have the upper hand looking at the history, but this is a really bad sign, actually. We just talked about how much weight of this game is on the mid lane, and Voyboy's sick right before Champion Select. The nerves maybe getting to him as well, not helping out the situation. But
yeah, one thing just stacks on the other.
He's also sort of the leader for Curse, kind of the point man for the team, so it is going to be a little bit disconcerting for them to have this situation right before they have to jump back in.
Already the length of a day, that you're waiting, you've practiced, you've trained, you're ready to get into the game, and then this extra little to weigh onto that goes throughout the entire game. And hopefully it doesn't affect them too much. They are a strong team. The shot calling does seem to be in their favor, whether it's coming from Dominate in the jungle or Zekent on support. And we'll see what they do once they can get into game. Looking at Quas here on your side, or closest to us, I should say. He's really one that's been a bit of a not knowing what he's doing. I couldn't find the word I wanted, but he's a mystery with his champion picks. He has the Jax, and he's held his lane. The Karthus was obviously a global presence help, but he wasn't getting 18, 19 kills on it. He's always been on the assist factor of participation kills, so we're still waiting for him to explode.
I think it was a really good pickup for Curse, grabbing Quas, because he does add a lot to that versatility. He is one of the reasons why the team can use so many different strategies, because he's so flexible as a top laner. And like you said, using all these different champions that are not conforming to the current meta.
I think we can hear Voy taking the stage. Hopefully he is feeling much better. It seems like there's a smile.
Looks fine.
A little bit of a smile. Water on the face, got a good wash down. You see him talking to Chopper, making sure the refs making sure he's feeling comfortable to, continue with the match.
I think that motion right there is don't puke on the keyboard, please. If you have to, we've got a bucket under the table.
That's all right. Just like we saw, Edward's mouse went out the other day. They have all the extra peripherals they need in their backpack. So if he has to restock and reload a keyboard, he will be good to go. These guys just considering getting ready to get back into Champion Select. We saw a few of the picks and bans already. Thresh, Vi, possibly Draven if that was locked in before Voyboy made his way off. And the other team coming in, Snoopy, like we said, first time on Elise, so it should be a very interesting game for Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the early game moves that he does make with Elise, because those tell a lot about what type of jungler you're going to be. And since his confidence may be shaken from yesterday with the engages that were not followed up by the team, he might not have the confidence to go very aggressive early with Elise. And that could be detrimental because that's what the champion is built for.
That's absolutely true. The Mundo win came because he could stick with the team. But like you're saying, the Elise, the Vi, a little bit too much distance in the team communication and that engagement to make it happen.
He's a veteran player, though. I'm sure he's still got his confidence, and he'll jump right back into this game.
Could bring out that Cho'Gath, that Maokai again, all the old champs. Let's go.
The old school
Hell
Cho'Gath play, one of the best plays that we've seen. Was that at Worlds?
Oh, yeah, Flash Namen with the Ignite. So we see the picks almost back down. We're reconstructing them back to where they were, and you can see them on your screen now. So we do have that frontline team we were talking about with the Alistar kind of coming in, who's going to have that his will to pretty much break through everything with that ultimate and damage reduction. Looking for the picks now. We do need a mid laner and a top laner for Curse.
Yeah, there you go right there. Teemo and Karma. Perfect.
Bingo bango.
Mid laner and top laner. So Mordekaiser's just as good of a pick. They're playing to the crowd. The duo lane is locked in for them, though. And Thresh and Draven is one of the classic aggressive duo lanes. When they first came out, both those champions like shoving up for the same reason here. Thresh likes to get souls from all the minions, and Draven likes to stack up all his adoration, so he's constantly throwing his spinning axes so that he can reset it and also stack up adoration at the same time. So that's definitely a lane that will be looking to shove very early, which exposes them to Elise ganks, because duo lanes right now, they don't bring a lot of extra wards to the lane, and bottom lane is a lot more gankable than it used to be.
Oh.
So they could very well, EG could focus down there and try and stop that Draven from getting rolling.
Well, they may have a chance to stop that, but if Quaz has anything to say about it globally, he will. On Karthus, once again, they were able to get a win as he played Karthus last time.
But man, Pobelter had such a great game on Gragas. It looks like that's an insta-lock for them.
I'm surprised he got it again. Even that, for them to give him Gragas. And that, like you said, it was the 2v1. There wasn't escalated jungler help there always happening frequently. So he did it for himself. You can see taking the Ignite strong. No barrier for Gragas. He's no Ziggs.
I know, I can't question that pick since he did so well on it before, but the Kale did seem just like the gut reaction to a Kha'Zix Vi combo. Always nice to have that invulnerability. But Gragas does a really good job. He can split this team up. It's a very old counter to Karthus. You can knock him away with your ultimate from Gragas. So if you kill Karthus and he's away from the team fight when he goes down, then he doesn't get to make use of his passive, and it's definitely beneficial for those team fights.
Whole lot of no thank you, don't want any of that. While the champs are locked and loading, let's see who you think will take the win. According to LOLesports.com, 61% of you think that Curse will dominate this match.
And remember to send us your highlights from today at LOL Esports, and be sure to use that hashtag LCS Big Plays.
I want the biggest plays, because there are going to be some good ones. And we still have TSM Cloud9 to go. Pretty excited.
I feel like a lot of the big plays will come from that game.
We could have some good Requiems here as we load on to the Rift. It is going to be that Karthus semi-global AoE composition coming in again for Curse. Last time Quas played this, he was really just, you know, the Requiem during a fight that was continuing. A little bit more damage, but he never really left the top lane.
Well, he's got teleport as well this time, so he is going to be a pretty mobile Karthus. He's going to be able to add his ulti damage that you're just talking about, and then also the teleport. You can either use that to join the team, or if they want to do a 4-1 split push, he can actually change lanes with that one and just pick up side farm. What they did with him last time is just trying to farm up all of the minions from the wave that the opponents were trying to shove up there. And so he got big by the late game, but didn't really have to fight a lot early.
Let's see what EG and Curse have for each other. Curse on the blue, EG on the red side. as we are breaking in to the next match of day 2 here in week 3. Looking around at the inventories, a little bit more consumable for Voyboy than there is for Pobelter, and the mana regen for the Doran's Ring. So small change there, but nothing that's going to win each other the lane. Voyboy, I'll be looking to go on to Pobelter with Gragas's resistances. Is he still level like 2-3able?
Yeah, Kha'Zix always has pretty good all-in potential early, but Gragas is a champion that if he starts out with Body Slam and goes into W pretty early, can give just as good as he takes. You have to also watch the runes on Gragas, because some sneaky mid laners will run attack damage on Gragas early even and go for those early level all-ins, expecting Kha'Zix to be super aggressive. Gragas is actually a pretty dynamic champion, benefiting from both AP and AD.
Quas going pretty deep into that support tree. He's got the biscuit for himself, but he also starts Doran's Ring. And this is the first time we actually get Inox on Renekton to make mention of it. Usually, EG was putting him on some tanky champions. He used to be playing Nidalee for a few games, had that Lee Sin, but they're back on something that he can carry. We'll see what he does on Renekton.
They'll probably be shoving in pretty early here. My guess for Renekton, trying to build up that Fury and shoving Quas. But back to Pobelter, I have checked his runes. He's got hybrid penetration, so he is going for both sources of damage here. And we'll have to see this early game. It could be explosive in that mid lane.
Wards hand in hand pretty much all the way down the river.
Yeah, it's going explosive. All right. Here we go.
Oh, there it is. The level 1, it can happen, and it may happen. Oh, the turret gets a hit. There's the body slam. Oh, my God. 2 minutes and 14 seconds first blood.
So I thought it was just going to be a first scratch right there, but they go all the way with it. All summoners burned here from both guys. And Pobelter, he's made use of that hybrid penetration.
I should have asked you if Pobelter has the level 2 all-in advantage. Heck with Kha'Zix. 1-0 now. We said Pobelter is the one to make or break those plays. It looks like a make day, Kobe.
He's all off to a really good start here for Pobelter. And last time we saw him on a good start with Gragas, he went on to finish out the game for his team. So this is a really good sign for EG fans. But Curse, by no means are out of this.
Yeah.
The first blood this early in the game, not worth nearly as much as it was before. Although that was a really flashy play, really the big takeaway from that fight in mid is that neither mid player has summoners now.
Yep.
So even more focus will be put towards mid from the junglers, because they can easily gank both those guys since they're both melee, and they're shown that they're definitely going to be fighting.
Hopefully Voyboy can shake this off. Seemed like he was a little shook by what just happened there. We do know, had a little pause for him not feeling well before the game, so could easily be trailing into this. That kill for Pobelter shows him and gives him this aggression now, getting the barrel damage and half healthing in one combo. Voyboy.
Yeah, double Doran's rings, plus he's able to get a ward here. I think the ward might even be the biggest part of this buy, because he's going to have both sides of the river warded as soon as he gets time to get away from the creep wave here. And he will not be suffering as much from the lack of flash this early, whereas Voyboy will just have to play more defensively since he didn't have money to spare.
Oh, Dom. Oh, he misses the cocoon. They got the 2-1-2 going in each lane right now, and it's going to be a fight in the top lane. Inox comes up with that kill. Will he go down? The Quas finds himself a Defiler, and he will be able to back out happy.
Missed on the cocoon and then repelled up for a long time there. Rough sort of gank. It could have gone a little bit better, but they were able to get the kill onto the jungler, get those double buffs down. So that could free up a lot of the rest of the map.
It is that first game on Elise
Quas got him back, right.
for Snoopy. So maybe just not ready with that timing. Wasn't ready for the position to be played on the gank, and he is trying to push this right into the turret. Double buffs for Quas. He's quite happy in this lane.
Yeah, I guess Dominate could call Worth, say, buff transfer complete, because Karthus with blue buff will definitely have no trouble CSing from afar. The only problem is that, again, Snoopy could do a repeat gank since Snoopy still has his flash.
Inox getting the kill. Looks like it's the double Doran's day here for EG as he picks up 2 blades. Pobelter's first back was the 2 rings. We'll still see Snoopy now leaving the top lane to enter his jungle. he has some work to be made up. He has, oh, not work to be made up, things to buy with that assist.
Yeah, so Snoop is making his return trip top before Quas has time to ward.
Ooh. Oh, that was a great grab. It didn't allow the trample damage to come through along with Yellow Pete's damage.
Yeah,
Great
nice
play.
exchange there, but you know, just trading flashes. Crepo will now not have that surprise factor from Alistar. Zekin with another good little lantern there, enabled him to get back to. Since Quas didn't buy wards though, he doesn't actually have to even go towards that bush, because usually returning to lane with a ward, you would walk over there and Snoopy could get this gank off. But Quas was planning on playing far back from the very beginning here. So a little bit more wasted time from Snoopy up top. And meanwhile, Dominate could go in here for a counter gank.
Oh boy, boy, taking a good bit of damage. Pole Belter again, 2v1ing in mid lane, and he gets the kill. The last tick of Ignite. Will he go for another one? No, he will not.
Level 6 first there from Gragas. Pobelter was looking for that one early.
The hooks just keep hitting for Zekent in the bottom lane. The dash away from Yellow Pete. It looks like they may have a good bit of damage to trade on Crepo, but they slow down.
All right, back to the mid lane. The action there that we just saw, Pobelter once again outplaying mid, 2 versus 1.
No, Kobe, back to the bottom lane. Cobb gets hit up with the headbutt pulverized, and we are all over the map right now.
All right, I guess Crepo still has the surprise factor, going in for the headbutt pulverized combos at will on Cobb, just trying to make him miss out on a couple CS. You can easily make him drop an axe. It's a pretty good interaction here with Alistar. You can just at least knock him away from one of those spinning axes.
Good little aggression by Inox here, but you can see how much he's going to take back. A few hits from that minion wave, but Quas, I don't know if he can take that too many times. Ignite's coming up, and Inox may be priming that for a turret dive.
Yeah, Inox does have his ulti, but diving Karthus would be very dangerous. Even if you do get the kill, you're going to take so much exit damage that you'll probably go down and answer. And it's pretty dangerous proposition for him, since he also does not know where Vi is.
Not always a worth in that case. 3-1, 7.5 minutes into the game, and looks like EG has their eyes on the dragon.
Interesting call here from EG. Going for the dragon. There is no ward inside the pit here for Curse, so it seems to be they're able to get this one without a lot of investment in ward coverage or sweepers. You know, no pinks, no nothing.
Yeah.
Just able to rush back there because they forced the dual lane back at the same time, and just good coordination there this time around from EG.
Cop's first game coming in on Draven here. This will be the third game of Lucian for Yellow Pete. So we'll see what Cop can produce. He's in his new, I wouldn't say it new anymore. We call it new every time. But in his style of gameplay that is aggressive now compared to his utility, he does put up numbers. It's not like he just tried to fill a position. He did fill a position.
Yeah, Cop's doing pretty well right now on Draven. Like I said, that Draven plus Thresh, both champions really benefit from going aggressive early and shoving in.
Yeah.
They did just that, and they have benefited. It just happens that they got their ward coverage up a little bit late around that dragon. And since Pobelter is just dominating mid so hard, Curse, it's very hard for them to collapse down to that dragon. Whenever you win that mid lane so hard, it opens up a lot of options as far as the jungle buffs and jungle objectives are concerned.
It used to be the higher priority on it. People would put Blitz in the AD mid lane, and then you try to win it completely, and you just grab everybody's buffs. Things have changed. Oh, how things have changed. 9 minutes here in the bottom lane. Zekent trying to grab brush control, but Crepo says no.
Yeah, brush control is really important for a Thresh because it's so much easier to land hooks, and especially since wards are a lot more scarce in the bottom lane. It's a pretty easier time here. But Crepo got some in his inventory and does drop one down there. They
Good.
also call in a gank down bottom. So I have to see if Snoopy can actually make this one pay off. They've communicated that there's no ward in the first side bush, but it's going to have to be Crepo going for another headbutt pulverized combo because his flash isn't ready yet.
Trying to keep that lantern in the brush. Zekent is very wary right now of what is happening on the other side. That last minion dies, and they have enough movement. But Snoopy, he will decide to move up.
Okay, so he's going to have to be very patient with this gank because that's a big wave at the turret. And he's spending a lot of time down here. They really need this one to pay off. The flash is available for Zekent, but not for Cop. So Zekent, all he has to do is play further back.
Dominate being seen top will allow them to go pretty hard on this. No, They back off. The box still and exhaust up for Zken.
So they get that second flash down just as Cops is about to come back up. From this point on, all that Zken has to do is play further back, and Cop has both the Lantern and his own flash to rely on now. So it's actually not that successful of a gank.
Oh,
even though they were able to get that Summoner, maybe the roam will be more successful.
This is a heck of a roam right now going on. There's a Karthus ultimate also to come in on this, so if it looks like they're getting away, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it should have been called out by the bottom lane, though. So
right.
Kirsch should be playing very defensively right now and be expecting this movement.
So you can see EG's like, we're in a bad spot. Let's show our position and kind of say that we're in the aggressor right now. You guys back off. That's what Snoopy does, walking through the turrets. They'll be safe now in this positioning. We'll get some good damage on mid.
I like the idea behind that roam, though. They want to play to their strengths. Since Pobelter is the one that's so far ahead in this game, he's the point of power for EG. And you want to go and play towards wherever you're winning already because you can push that advantage. But overextending for a turret dive is how you throw that back into Curse's favor. And they make the call to back off so they don't risk turret dive against a team with Requiem.
Looks like Curse roaming his 3 as well to go through the jungle. They know EG was heavily guarding that bottom side. So keeping safety for Cop right now. He is 106 to 97, so not too much of a win for him in the bottom lane. But they are going to keep safe, keeping that brush control with wards on both sides. We're still waiting for somebody to really explode on this team. We've seen the plays coming from EG, 1.4 thousand in the lead. So they're doing all right now.
And Curse are probably just going to want to farm up for as long as they can here. They've got Karthus just sitting up top. It's all he's trying to do against Renekton. Meanwhile, Voyboy needs to get back in this game, so he's trying to grab as many stray CS as he can without getting killed again. And Draven, meanwhile, doing the exact same thing. As we said before, stacking up Adoration stacks, waiting for the next dragon to come up so that they can actually make use and try to cash some in.
And what about Voyboy here? You're saying the Adoration stacks, but when a Kha'Zix is behind and he's almost your main pick guy, where do you go from there?
As I said, since he's behind, he's just trying to pick up any stray CS that he can and get back in this game. He started with that flask, so repeat visits to the fountain do get him refills on that, and he'll be able to sustain pretty easily. But he's so far behind because of the 2 kills that he doesn't have power to fight in these team fights, and it's very rough for him to go in for those executes to get his reset. Even though Quas is going to be softening everybody up, he's got to play safe still at this point in the game.
It could get even worse if EG is able to get enough money under their belt and start those Banshees Veils. We've seen a lot more lately to the Spirit Visages, but these Assassins, they almost make it necessary.
And, you know, Curse might be thinking about getting some Banshees Veils too, because Pobelter has started with a rush into Deathfire Grass. Cop wants all the attention, but Pobelter's coming for him. If you dance like that, he's going to try and kill you.
Do not taunt the fat man, and it's going to be a killing spree for Pobelter as he takes down Zken. No more dancing from Cop.
He actually did use his DFG right there, too. Quas getting dope, though. Karthus very, very susceptible early to this.
Got it under the turret. The rod is melting. Oh, very nice play in the end flash to capitalize on his own kill.
Almost able to get out of that one alive.
Oh, Zken. A little stressed out from that one. He didn't think it was going to happen.
Yeah, Inox just raising his hands. But he was able to get the kill. It would have been real bad for EG if he wasn't able to get the kill right there.
I was going to say earlier, like, yeah, I think Renekton would make it out, though. No, he didn't make it out. You were right. 15 minutes on the clock as we come up 5-2. Gold lead 22,000 for EG to 19,000 of Curse right now. I feel like Curse still has kind of a trick up their sleeve. We haven't seen too much of the Karthus ulti coming in. And after that, Curse could be in a really good spot to take a turret or even the dragon if it's up again.
Yeah, so the last dragon going to EG because of Pobelter's giant lead there. He's still really doing a lot for his team by controlling that mid-map area. Does extend their lead a bit more and opens up some plays down bottom.
Right against the wall. It's not going to lock up Cop too much, but Pobelter is getting his roam on. He knows that Voyboy is not going to be a factor in that mid lane right now, so he's trying to get everybody else going.
He has gone for the Hex Drinker early, too. So
Yeah, boy.
Kha'Zix usually likes to get early, like, Brutalizer plus Tiamat for the AoE. Krepo gets hooked. Zeke goes in and then throws back a Lantern. It looks like some mistiming here from Curse this time around.
Getting excited in the bottom lane. They're trying to do what they can. The ultimate's up from Krepo, so that would have been a different engagement and probably just a disengage. But the ult down, nonetheless.
Inox made another pass at Quas, too, under the turret, and he's really, really low right now. So calling up Snoopé to go for the sure dive here is a good idea by Quas to recall, but it means that they're going to give up more map coverage. So 2 outer turrets down, and the only place left for EG to focus is going to be turning these very fed solo laners' attention down towards Cop in the bottom lane.
And I have a feeling... Oh, go ahead.
If you get killed, you're going to lose half your adoration stack.
I have a feeling that EG is going to pretty much set up shop here in this side of the jungle, too. Not letting Curse get any more of these blue buffs. Pobelter already controlling the mid to pretty much top lane with Inox right now. So these guys are having a field day.
Yeah, it's been pretty much all the plays starting out from Pobelter's giant lead that he got there.
And he was saying that Voidboy and Dominate make the plays. Krepo again hooked. He's just leaving himself out for that hook. They're getting it down very often, so maybe they can play off of that.
I do like the choice from EG, actually, just to not even switch over down to the bottom lane. They got a second-tier turret up from the top lane. And they can actually look to do the same at mid, because Pobelter's shoving it in while Snoopé is zoning out Voidboy here. And it looks to be a very clean objective after objective here for EG.
All right, once all these turrets go down and there's nothing else in front of EG to take, does the shot calling come into play? They've been playing very structured so far, and we said they didn't have much shot calling, but it looks like it's coming around.
So from the builds that I'm seeing coming out from EG, I think they're going to continue with the spread out playstyle and not try and group up early.
Okay.
DFG on Gragas is a bit rare, but it just means that he is going more for the assassin plays and roaming on Gragas, trying to make plays elsewhere. So he'll just shove his lane and then roam somewhere else. Meanwhile, Inox is looking to be the split-pushing Renekton with the rushed Hydra. So pretty sure they're just going to continue to say split out and try and increase their lead, just playing exactly how they've played the first 15 minutes of this game.
These shoved lanes with a Renekton Tiamat, or I should say Hydra, coming into play there, keeping that in the face of Quaz. And like you said, Pobelter roaming around after every lane push. He is 3-0 right now, and actually looking to go straight for damage here. Whether that, I don't believe that's going to be a Zanya's. I'm thinking Rabadon.
Yeah, Deathcap definitely. He's going for full power right now. There's only magic resist on Vi and Voidboy at this moment, so roaming bottom is a really good move for him, and he's prepped it with 2 pink wards here. Somebody else doing their part, by the way, since you can only have 1 pink ward of your own.
There's actually 3 out right now. Teamwork.
All bottom side.
All one word. Yeah. 2-2 in that top lane. Inox versus Quaz, who is on Karthus. It's been really tipped from the jungler presence in that top lane. We saw Quaz and Inox go at each other once, and then one more time after that. Voidboy here being pressured out, but Dominate is there to help. Yellow P is interesting. Yellow P usually does this when the team's behind, but right now they're actually using this time to just say, we're in control. Let's not take anything too hasty.
Yeah, they're leaving Pete to just farm by himself over there because Krepo wants to go make plays as usual. Now, the thing that EG still has to be worried about, though, is Curse's team fight. Because Curse, they can have Quas soften everybody up with his AoE magic damage, just even if they start off the fight with a Requiem and then have Quas try and get in there close to the fight to soften everybody up. Then they have Dominate pick off a single target. Whoever Dominate picks off, they get the reset with Voidboy.
I don't know if Pobelt is going to make it out of this one alive. He almost takes down Dominate, and it's going to be the Requiem shutdown. Quas gets a bunch of gold for himself.
So no team fight necessary there for Curse. They just catch Pobelter in the roam, and the ultimate there from Dominate is being put to good use. Quas adding the extra damage to make sure he goes down.
Getting himself a buff, too. Very nice for him. That's got to be some good money, and may even put him right next to that Zanya's finished. He's been in lane farming for himself here, getting a few kills on the side. The rappel goes up. Voidboy patiently waiting, and it looks like Snoopy might even make it out of this one alive.
The
flash attack! Oh, he turns around to Cocoon, and he gets taken down.
And he's able to use the reset to jump back out cleanly, just getting away from Inox there. Perfect timing on this. They're setting up the dragon. Voyboy can jump from behind the wall too. And it's going to be up to, looks like Crepo's all by himself there. That would be a very risky play.
Holy macaroni. Dragon's grab, but looking at Inox's inventory, a 20-minute Guardian Angel.
That is a very, very early GA for Inox. All right. So Voyboy has gotten his Tiamat, by the way. So coming in with the AoE damage. We'll just flash the cocoon, easy peasy, jump back out. Yeah. But so he does have his AoE damage coming in, even though it was delayed a little bit by the Hexstringer. So now he will be able to clear waves quickly and then make moves like that play that we just saw.
This Inox rush of a GA, that just causes so much trouble because you already don't have enough to deal with a Dominus or an Ecton, but then he's going to come back.
It's a pretty interesting early buy there. We don't see that very often, but it will mean a very high impact next team fight. For one team fight, they've got a double tank. So the next one for EG, they actually have a huge advantage while GA still has its charge. As long as he doesn't get caught out and burn the charge outside of a team fight, then EG actually are pushing this advantage pretty well.
Well, we'll see if this is the right thing to be that catalyst for EG to make plays, for the shot calling to continue going into this game. Like we said, historically, they've been a little shaky coming this part of the game. This is their U, that low U part of the curve and the power for them. And we'll see if they can get it and keep it. Because right now, dictating the game, keeping Curse on their heels, like we said, the top part of the jungle hasn't been Curse's ever since those top and middle turrets fell.
All right, so EG finally grouping up here. They do have a lot of catch potential. Crepo has his flash, and Alistar is great at starting up turret dives because of that ultimate. Ooh, misses the pulverize though, they back off.
Both Qs in a different direction there. One ground pound and one vault breaker off to the side, please. 22 minutes, 5-4. The kills are kind of creeping in, but both teams now giving each other respect as it's the turrets that's falling. And there isn't much dive to come out of the huge burst team. The EG's not really diving, they kill before they even get under the turret. They have so much damage right now.
It is dangerous to dive Curse if they get set up under a turret. As we saw already before, Inox went for the dive onto Quas and had to pay for it with his life. Very dangerous to go under turrets versus a team like this that has potential to get Voyboy resets. Since, as we said, Dominate can lock down that single squishy target and allow Voyboy to get at least one kill.
And I kind of really like the Karthus pick coming in here because you got Dominate and Voyboy and Zekent, who's been throwing hooks. Props to him for trying to always make plays going in. But Karthus has always been one of the champions that's great for peeling the AD carry. It's hard to get through him.
It is. He's looking to get into the middle of the team fight, especially with this build of the Rod of Ages plus Zanya's. It's a more defensive-oriented Karthus build, and he is sort of their pseudo-tank for this. Since Vi, coming from the jungle, it takes her a bit more money to get to that super beefy tank situation. Karthus, he just brings a lot of zone control when he goes in, and he has his Zanya's.
Now, let's just take notice of the map. Look what Curse is presented with here as they get to mid lane. Mid turret, top turrets up. They've only been able to find that global gold in the bottom lane. So they have some work to do, but that also means that if they get a good fight and take those objectives consecutively, that's a big influx of gold they need now.
Yeah, they have to play on the defensive until the turret fight comes where they can turn it around. They need to win that big team fight before they can go aggressive and try and get back those outer turrets, get that standing global gold that can slingshot them right back into this game. If they win that team fight, they'll easily be able to pick up one of those close objectives of the outer turrets to get a whole bunch of extra gold right back in.
So Pobelter's main focus actually going for the Zanyas, the Vi, and the Kazakhs. He's given that respect. Looks like they back off here, but Kobe, really great positioning on the fight. It's going to be Dominate going back. Tries to get the assault battery down, and he actually gets himself there after using the crowd control effect on it. It looks like Snoopy in and out of the fight, and that's big damage from Cop right there.
Yeah, close calls all around right there. Vault Breaker missing by a hair. Hook missing by a hair.
Yeah.
Everybody just barely getting out. And now the 5-man siege under the turret. 2 members healing for Curse, so this should be a turret dead.
All right, looks like the game is back on here. Teams face-to-face, 25 minutes on. We have Quas in the base right now, so Requiem can still happen, but Dominate is trying to get back to the fight. Too late for the turret, though.
All they have to do is wait for another ultimate from Pobelter and return to the lane. They can use Culling and they can use Gragas ultimate. Those are very strong ultimates for setting up next to a turret. But they have to be wary. If they use the Gragas ultimate early, then they don't have anything to knock Voyboy back when he does come in, or knock away Karthus when Karthus is trying to get into the middle of the team fight.
Which is
so
something
you have to be careful.
We haven't seen yet that teleport effectively used to get one of these fights underway for Curse and Quas. Pink wards still going down by EG on the red side. They have one on either side of the river, keeping them just that much more safe as they huddle in the mid lane, because this is where a lot of the fights have been happening. Pobelter taking 2v1s in his own name for himself, 3-1-0, 262 CS to the 190 of Voyboy, and he started that. First blood was 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Solo kill for Pobelter on Voyboy.
Yeah, he's been doing just a fantastic job. Now, my next question is, do Curse actually make use of that teleport and try and contest the next dragon, or they just give it away to EG? Because at this point, they don't have vision of it, and it's really dangerous for them. But as we said, they have that extra teleport from Quas, whereas Inox is going to have to walk his way all the way down here.
If they win this engagement, that teleport might be used to get back to the top lane, but then that would eventually give EG the chance to pressure somewhere else, and Quas would have to be there due to not having it. 4,000 gold, not a whole lot at 27 minutes into the game, but these turrets and the map being so open for Curse makes it very dangerous for them to be making these movements.
Exactly. EG have a very close defensive structure that they can retreat to from this dragon area, but Curse, on the other hand, there's no way that Curse want to start the dragon. They're just trying to keep EG from doing it and get off enough harass that when they do commit to the dragon, it'll be a perfect spot for Quas to get his AoE off, and they can hope for that team fight.
They may be able to push him off.
Or just be way too late.
Yeah, way too late is the one we're looking for in that. Looking down at Voyboy's build, we talked a little bit about what Kha'Zix goes for in terms of Bloodthirster and Tiamat. He goes Tiamat this game to the Hydra.
Who's going Tiamat to the Hydra? Voyboy? Yeah, so Kha'Zix, as you said, loves that for wave clear, because then you can easily get your isolation damage even if somebody's inside a creep wave or something like that. Classic standard build on Kha'Zix nowadays, even though Chuper from Complexity was laughed at when he first brought it out last season, 2013.
See people doing a lot of different things. Looks like they will try to avoid the fight of EG right now with this somewhat of a split push build. You have Quas still working that janitorial duty on cleaning up creeps in the top lane, but he's also getting that Requiem in. 3-1-0, and we haven't really seen him around. Voyboy's been making flashy plays, and he's also 3-1-0.
That's the very relaxing playstyle of Karthus, where you just add your ultimate, and then all of a sudden you look down at your score.
You're just
got
top lane,
extra kills.
Listening to like Mozart or something, you're like, oh yes, press R. Here it is. 45,000 to 40,000 is the gold right now. 6-1 in turrets, and a little bit of a stall out in the game here. I remember saying that 2 times now over the past like 5-10 minutes. We'll see if these teams can really break the mold. Like you said, EG has that defensive setup of their outer turrets, very easily retreatable. But it's all about Curse. It's going to be coast to coast if they have to retreat from this fight.
EG have actually been able to lock down vision control around Baron. This is a pretty rare thing in the new state that the game is in now, since you have to rely on all these sweepers and these scarce pink wards where you're only allowed 1 each. They've actually been able to do it really well around this Baron, and they have a perfect opportunity to pull off a play.
Very nice job. The blue does go to Curse. They're able to soak that up. Looking around here, Snoopy doesn't have the tankiest build right now. Looking at that
There is the activation of the talisman, and they run in circles.
It's good wardage, keeping everybody backed off here. Even the talisman can't get you in range. Wow, how many wards next to each other? There's 4 wards right there coming in for EG, but you know what? It could mean kills in a few seconds, and they'll get that return on investment. Looking to see who can really get the better positioning here. It's 3 sweepers to 2, and Crepo is just looking to say, my ward.
Now, if Curse actually end up getting super antsy and run down one of these paths, it would be very hard for them to get through, because Gragas, this is a really good funnel point for Gragas to be able to get off his ulti and AoE. And it could knock half the team forward out of the pathway into the river and half the team backwards, which would really be a poor team fight then. That's why Curse are being so careful right now.
I feel like this is very scary. Quas can do so much damage in this choked up area of the jungle, and you see EG doesn't fully want to enter. They're leaving Crep on the inside, and they're trying to fight it from the elbow of the wall. Nice culling going down, but it's right over the Zanyas. He doesn't get the kill. Boy and him trade back and forth. A double kill for Pobelter. The Requiem to come down. He gets 1 kill onto Snoopy. Inox very low. The shield, the flash, and he takes him down with the help of Yellow Pete.
Yellow Pete coming in at the end to just barely save him. Let's look at all this AoE, because both Karthus and Pobelter on Gragas get all their AoE off here. And Karthus stays alive forever. Really good positioning by Quas. You see him do so much damage there, but even though Cop comes to fight on his dead body, the GA that Inox got to prevent resets from Kha'Zix pays off right there. And the stun lasts just long enough for Yellow Pete to flash in and finish him off.
I'm not sure if that was his cull or he actually just hit his Hydra active, because he only got like a little bit of health back there. That was amazing that he lived. Great teamwork, and to stay in the fight as long as possible. Do the most amount of damage. If you're going to go down, sometimes you'll come out alive.
Yeah, and Inox came out alive.
Yep.
Due to that GA, which, second item rush. Now, in hindsight, definitely looking to prevent those Kha'Zix resets, even though Kha'Zix was behind early. So he was definitely thinking about this very early on in the game. And it just barely paid off right there.
An interesting fight. We had a little bit of a lull between that and the engagements of champions, but 10-7 now as that scoreboard increases.
Ooh,
it's going to increase a little bit more. Not enough words there that time.
Yeah, they have one right there that was just placed. While Dominate sacrificed his life to get Zekent enough time to place it. But him being down, no smite, means they go right for Baron, and Curse just opt for the split push instead. Should be able to steal that away from the
That was
lead.
nicely thrown, though.
She's got an execute plus smite.
And here's Quas doing what Quas does best. He's in another lane pushing it down, trying to get these turrets down low health, but not the quickest turret taker. And it's going to be Crepo who's answering that one right now, but I think he's got 8 seconds. He's got the time to get out of there on his back. So now EG, they're kind of resetting, getting themselves in position. They don't have anything to worry about now with Baron down. The map is objective free, and they get to choose where to go next.
Yeah, they did just show why everyone put so much emphasis on the vision around Baron. They just were very patient and waited. Since they got that control, they never let Curse get close enough to put a ward in there. And EG basically just camped out the Baron pit where they had everything clear and waited for Curse just to come over and over again. Eventually, it paid off. They played the waiting game, and they were rewarded with Baron.
Pobelter and Boy were two players we were looking at this game. Both like to make flashy plays, but right now Pobelter sits out of the 9,000 gold. The whole team is ahead. 4,000 of that is his over Voyboy right now, and it's just been an amazing play. His 2v1s and map control. The communication is there for EG this game.
And it's a great player and champion for that money to be on. Since Gragas can do so much AoE, and Pobelter is very adept at catching people out. He's built for the assassinations, and he's actually been able to pull them off there.
He's only getting stronger. The Void Staff finished now, and he is still going for the Rabadons. Why wouldn't you? You have the Zanyas. You have your safety and resistances now.
He did make that adaptation, though. He got the Zanyas first. So even though he is playing this super aggressive assassin-style Gragas, he got the defensive item next so that if he gets really deep, as we saw in the last fight, he can still use his Zanyas. And it's a good build for the type of Gragas that Pobelter is going for.
Also, interesting build for Snoopy as they start to take down this turret, completely leaving Inox to be the tank for the team with that early Guardian Angel. He's going for his Zanyas now.
Inox?
Snoopy is.
Okay, yeah.
He's leaving Inox to be the tank.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that would be ridiculous. There we go. Snoopy going to Zanyas.
20-minute Guardian Angel, 34-minute Zanyas on Renekton. Let's do it.
That's some Darien-style top lane.
That 10,000 gold lead really ticking against Curse right now, and you can see they're forced to watch this turret get poked down to half health. It's got a slow bit of regen on, but it's a sad face turret right now.
And Pobelter's been holding on to his ult this whole time here. So they still have Culling and they still have Gragas ult for a half-health turret. So once they get it to the really low percentage here, it's going to be an explosive team fight for EG. They're holding on to the cooldowns because they want it for the moment when Curse jump in.
Doesn't look like they're really going to need, or have the chance, I should say, to jump in on this. The back and forth. It's going to get down to like 10 health on the inhibitor, and then it gets intense. Everybody's going to go in.
So if you don't fight over the turret, then you should not fight over the inhibitor. Curse should stick to the call that they made and not get antsy, because there's no benefit of fighting over that inhibitor. You have no extra turret damage, no nothing. If you're not going to fight over turret, leave the inhibitor be too.
Guardian Angel back up onto Inox, something that EG was waiting for. They were very, very careful at that inhibitor when they were just taking it down. And they will be as well again for this one, but they can be a little more careless.
Now, if you let 2 inhibitor turrets fall, then you're really putting yourself into a corner. So I would expect them to go for a move here, because EG would just love it if they got another easy turret without having to kill anybody. They'll take objectives over here, inhibitor turrets, overkills any day of the week.
And a really great positioning by Yellow Pete, trying to get those abilities out, getting his passive shot with the Triforce onto the turret. Keeps getting himself to safety. EG, definitely a different team than what we've seen
should
before.
Pop off this wave. Good wave clear actually there from Curse because of the static shiv. There it is.
Oh, way in the back. Dominate could be too far, but it's the rest of EG jumping in. Crepo comes back to try and peel, and this gives time for Voyboy to come back in. A great zone used by Quaz, but there's not enough tank there compared to Inox. Requiem comes down. Not going to be enough, and repels damage by Snoopy.
Yeah, good job by Snoopy. Nobody else really had any answers for the Requiem to come in, but they had enough life, so it didn't matter. Able to take down 2 people with 0 casualties. This should be EG. Oh, 1 casualty.
Up and down, alley-oop there for Cobb's axe to get hit. Get some gold in for himself. Nice damage coming out as well. Cobb gets those hits in, and he can change the mind of EG on that engagement, but you can't with 2 people down now. Makes it a little harder.
Yeah, that was a big burst, but EG, they should run back to their fountain and heal their wounds because they had a very, very successful push. 2 inhibitor turrets down. They even got 1 of the inhibitors. So it's a pretty clear path now. They can go force fights on the exposed inhibitors and use that massive gold lead that they have accrued to their advantage.
They've also been doing a great job of using that gold to keep the pink wards up, which are right in front of the base, giving them the ability to use pole belt or use somebody with a quick pick like Snoopy's Cocoon to thwart all those wards that Curse would be putting over to stay safe. 13-8, 38 minutes into the game. Like you said, gonna go back, clean up the wounds, and they're heading back in. They're starting to ward a little bit more towards Baron once again. It's up in a minute, but you see they keep moving their vision line up, and the map behind them is dark. They don't even need to be there.
And they're also shoving up the minion line, so they've even got vision in all the lanes here. Pobelter, since he was able to purchase first and get back out to the field, he shoves top lane in. So the top lane is going to be close to that turret, and they can go down and have everybody 5-man, the exposed inhibitors on the other side of the map, trying to pull Curse in 2 different directions.
The entire map covered in red right now, and that is EG from the start of this game, pretty much making it theirs and putting a stamp on control.
And it's an interesting choice that they've made. Instead of trying to get the bottom inhibitor first, they're just setting up shop around Baron again, waiting for it to respawn. I don't think there's a lot of potential of Curse going for a Baron, so EG could easily, go get that other bottom inhibitor first to put more pressure on the bottom side of the map, but since the vision game worked out for them so well first time around, they are returning to it, and they're going to try and catch a team fight here in the jungle from Fog of War, which is a bit more risky.
Vision from Z-Kent. Voyboy now with the Guardian Angel, seeing the way his build coming together, skipping going into the Hydra so he can just get the second auto attack in. He's trying to piece together to still be more effective.
And there is a super minion on the inhibitor right now, by the way, in the mid lane, since they did not clear the last super minion wave. So if Curse stay here and contest this Baron, that super minion will be able to take the mid inhibitor. That's why Quas is going back, and EG are simultaneously making the call to start up Baron.
Best offense is also a good defense, and that's Crepo and Inox's job right now is the 3 on offense. We're taking Baron, but as 5 now, EG moving together
Inhibitor's
so well.
still taking damage, and there it goes. The super minion does get it. So EG got a win without even having to make a move.
Huge plays here. They're not going to really see any contest. Watching Dominate just on the outside. His smite is up, but he will not be able to smite. The pink wards for Curse lead EG back into the base, so they're only going to know how quick they're coming. It's really not going to give them an advantage.
And now it should be a clear story here. Baroned up, EG is going to be very much willing to go take down that bottom inhibitor. Not only do they have, Guardian Angels on Inox from the very beginning, though, but also Yellow Pete has picked up one for himself, so it's going to be hard for Voyboy to find those resets.
Yeah. It was weighing against them before, and it's unfortunately going to weigh against them even more here. We don't see the Banshee's Veils coming in, which we thought we would have seen more of. It's the Guardian Angels that everybody begins to go for. Seeing the Dragon still going down, worth a bit more money now in the end game, and you'll see teams still going for that.
Yeah, EG just have a commanding lead here, so it's up to them to finish this game out without any mistakes. And Curse really, we'll have to see what kind of last stand they're able to come up with here. They actually don't go for any sort of bush shenanigans, and we'll probably see a last stand at the double Nexus turrets or maybe that top turret. They still do have the possibility of Dominate locking somebody down and Voyboy getting the kill on them, but it's not going to be Yellow Pete and it's not going to be Inox.
And once they get this bottom inhibitor down, it creates so much more pressure. Doesn't look like it's going to be too good here. EG fully ready for this fight. Everybody with summoners up. Mamalaya Snoopy Smite is down.
The only person without a Guardian Angel or a Zanya's is Crepo, and he's got a Randuin's. Plus, he is Alistar, who can pop that ultimate. So it's going to be very hard for Curse to actually find the execution.
Waiting for Pobelter to get more barrels out. That missed hook could fuel something here for EG. Z can't wait. Floral half health from 1 barrel. That's not right. He is backing off right now. 42 minutes on the clock. And those are like Nidalee Spears coming out right now.
Giant spear-filled Nidalee Spears, eh? Well, they're taking the slow route, so they are just going to rotate up to the top one. Not work on the Nexus turrets. EG are just looking to decimate the entire base of Curse here. And if Curse are going to make that last stand, I have to say it's going to be at this turret, because 3 inhibitors down against the Baroned up EG is definitely indefensible.
Hopefully they don't go too crazy. I can see Crepo doing some kind of a flash initiation here. They're going to go back. Oh, he stops the Assaulted Battery. Very cheekily played with the Zanyas. Cop gets the exhaust down. Very nice play coming in here from Crepo. They still get into the back line. Too many tanks from Inox there on the turret, and they get themselves back in. He's still got near 1,000 health, even though it's that low. Quas, the Zanya's on the other side as well, but the barrel, he flashes out of it. Very nice job by both teams. Nobody dying, but very low.
And that's 3 inhibitors down. EG looking to end this one right now.
That was a pretty good hit. Thousands of damage across everybody on the team, but is it enough to kill one person? It is not. Voyboy gets traded back in. They go straight towards him. He tries to jump out. They do get the kill onto Pobelter. Trading back, it looks like Z-Kent goes down quickly after the triple kill for Yellow Pete as Quas picks up one for himself in Death Defile passive. It looks like Quas will be going down after he takes down Inox. The quadra kill for Yellow Pete, 7-0-7, and they're all giving him a pat on the back.
Congratulations there to EG, finishing it off in style, destroying every single building in the Curse base.
One of the biggest leads we've seen in a win in the spring split so far. EG taking down Curse in 44 minutes. They take the Nexus with smiles.
They're definitely happy about that one. And especially Pobelter should be happy, because man did he start them off. Everybody congratulating him right there. Another amazing game on Gragas. Well-deserved win.
I was very surprised when he got Gragas. I wasn't sure what they were thinking. Were they going to focus him? How do you focus him? But when he kills you at 2 minutes and 15 seconds, there's really no time to focus him. They came back, they tried to 2v1 him, and he almost killed Vi in the same time.
Yeah, after that level 1 all in super early was pretty much the Gragas show. And he was able to get everything he needed for the team.
You know, our Twitter question today was, you know, who needs to win more, CLG or Cloud9 or TSM, I should say. But EG, this win for them, I think, is very big. I think it's very, very big.
They definitely did, especially after yesterday. Seemed like they took that one kind of hard.
Yep.
Really big comeback for them. Strong performance here against Curse, taking the lead early with Pobelter's flashy play.
And a new team, I'm kind of glad I can say we were a little wrong in the saying the shot caller isn't there, because it looks like it is now. There was a lot of communication on the team. Snoopy was still going in pretty far on some ults, but the team was always there. They had a lot more communication than the Vi game. It was better for them on Elise.
And they had a lot of patience around Baron, which is something that you really need a lot of practice with, because people get antsy when you don't have vision around that Baron. They played that vision game very well, really got them off to that convincing.
I feel like they had a lot of patience overall. We see Crepo trying to make plays, and I was like, are they going to go into this turret? It might be bad. Is he going to flash pulverize? But you're right. It's kind of like everybody on the team was saying, just because it needed to be said, you needed to hear it again. Just play it calm. We have the win. No need to do anything outside, you know.
They did back off after they got their objective. They didn't overextend and overstay their welcome. So they would return to base, play a lot more conservatively.
So Pobelter gets his second game on Gragas, goes very hard. EG looking quite good right now with that game. We've got to step away and make a quick broadcaster lane swap, but when we return, EG's Pobelter and Crepo will join us to break down their winning performance. Then it's time for our third game of the day as Doublelift and CLG try to take out Shifter and Team Coast. Don't go anywhere. The 2014 North American LCS split. We'll be right back.
Bye, bye, bye. Counters in,
Disengage. Counters. Get the counters in the back. Disengage after.
I saw my GA. Running out.
Okay, turn on Draven.
Running out the counters. Fire the soul. Draven.
Need Draven down. Nice!
Oh my god, yes. Can we get him? No.
Oh, you cannot.
No,
It's ace.
No, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Shittiest day of my life.
Mad?
I haven't mad. The fucker bought a Negatron after his.
I didn't even see it.